In the present episode, my intention is to furnish you with a model that holds immense importance in and of itself, but naturally builds upon the entirety of the methods and tools I have developed, thanks to your invaluable assistance here on YouTube, while also making reference to the body of practical work I have accumulated over the course of the past 15 years. The model itself is relatively uncomplicated. You will quickly comprehend exactly what I mean, and you will undoubtedly see directly for yourself where this will specifically aid you in a meaningful way. It is also crucially important that this model can be effectively applied to various points in time, prior to addressing and effectively dealing with your symptoms and issues. Or maybe you have already been working on positively influencing your own thinking and mental level for some time. What I am about to tell you is extremely important for you. Therefore, make sure to watch the video until the end so that you can implement it for yourself as well. A process that brain research describes, among other things, in relation to our brain, can be easily broken down into simpler components and analyzed in detail. At times, our brain tends to wander there and carries out a process of optimizing memories to enhance its efficiency. All things within us are ultimately stored in the form of biochemical structures and molecules. We do not have fixed data storage in our heads. Everything that is in some way inside us is very fragile in that sense, and must also be constantly maintained, constantly nurtured. And our brain, maybe some of you still remember from earlier, you can imagine it a bit like data fragmentation on a Windows XP computer. Our brain frequently goes there, making an effort to simply arrange the memory components in the most optimal way possible. And in this context, our brain deconstructs thoughts, deconstructs synaptic connections in our brain, which are then essentially destroyed in that moment. And our brain not only refuses to let us forget things, but our brain actually goes to that place and presents us with this level of mental content once again during the process of deconstruction, asking us to examine it and determine whether it is significant or can be discarded. And our response to this mental presence at this very moment leads us either to truly let go of the thought so that it genuinely says goodbye, or our mind also goes there and stores it again, thereby holding onto it once more, rather than completely releasing it and allowing it to fade away. And that's why this is such an important model for us, because many of you have experienced it over and over again. I have these problems, mental level, okay, I understand. And then they contact me again later and say, Mr. Rick, this has come up again. I have my head, which is constantly occupied with it, and always has something to do with it. This is the healing process. Let's just call it that. Your mind travels to those places and deconstructs the areas of difficulty that you previously experienced. Will not annihilate you, so to speak, at this very moment, but your problem is gradually bidding farewell. And we misunderstand that. We misinterpret that circumstance. We previously had the feeling, I am contemplating my issue once more, and did not even realize that our brain is presently working in our favor, once again organizing a portion of our problem. And that is the reason why it is extremely important for us to understand that whenever your brain is focused on your previous problem, it is not a part of the problem itself. It is an integral part of the solution. It plays a pivotal role in the overall healing strategy. And therefore, the most important thing you can and should do now is to train your brain to show it these unpleasant things from the past when they appear in the moment of representation, and to tell your brain that it doesn't need to store them again. How can we achieve that? Our emotional and behavior-oriented reaction plays a crucial role in determining whether our brain stores the information or lets it go. You need to teach yourselves coolness. Conceal it up your sleeve in advance, so you're ready when the time comes. If your brain goes and says, look here, you used to have this problem that you are currently facing. Before I get upset, I'd rather not care. Allow yourself to be startled initially for a moment. No problem. Problems did not arise previously because you briefly mentally upset or frightened yourself, but because you did not interrupt earlier, and therefore a problem could persist, and become more deeply entrenched and difficult to resolve accordingly. Then be gentle with yourself. If the issue arises from your thinking, I will now remain calm to demonstrate my mental capacity. You are also encouraged to create some distance from this framework.